Welcome to the
Road Trippin'
Bel Air docu-series. No, just playing. My name is JD Power, DJ JD Power. This is the lovely Tracee Lee, and we are presenting our version of the Bel Air TV series review.
Yes. All right, and we are on episode 5, PA to LA.
Okay.
And this is where Trey comes from Philly. Yeah, you like taking up the whole shot.
Wow. Trey comes to Philly,
Yeah.
and
Trey comes to Philly to hang out for the week
Trey
with Will.
comes to Philly.
Trey.
He comes to Philly.
I'm sorry. He comes to LA to hang out with Will. And one of the first things that, did you want to? No. One of the first things that kind of sticks out to me in the very beginning is Trey's like, with Rashad being dead, you coming home.
Right.
That's like, he said that off top.
Show over.
Right.
No more Will to Bel Air, none of that. Show's over, come back to Philly.
Come back to Philly, right? There's no reason for you to even be out here. So then that takes us into him, meeting the family and being overwhelmed with all that it is.
So it's the first time that Will has actually considered leaving Bel Air. He's got comfortable.
Yeah, he didn't even.
He likes the lifestyle.
Who wouldn't?
Who doesn't want to go?
Right.
I mean, who doesn't want to go from rich to back home? You're gonna be a snitch. Right. That's what the rumor gonna be.
Right.
Rich to a snitch.
Yeah. So he got a lot to think about. And then even the conversation that Vi and Vivian have with each other. Even Mom's like, well, he can come home now.
That was interesting to me because Mom, like, he's still a baby.
Right.
I'm going to tell him what I think is best for him.
Right.
And
I'm still going to tell him.
Yeah, she said, well, let's not make this about us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that lets you know they got some previous beefs.
Yeah. Well, Vi is the older sister.
Okay.
So that already.
Right.
I mean, as the youngest, I'm very familiar with, towing a line with my siblings.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, and
they still
they still like you're nobody. Yeah. Like you're nobody, you're nothing, whatever. I mean, I love my family, but it's real, and that was definitely a real conversation that was being had.
But every time the topic comes up, Vivian has the look on her face like, because it came up twice.
Yeah.
And early on.
Yeah, it did.
Was Will.
Right, when he first got out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like reassuring her sister, like, I got that. I'm going to take care of him. Like, I'm not going to let nothing happen to him, which is absolutely great because you want your family, you want to let people reassure them that you can take care of them. But yeah, I just think it was the first time that anybody really thought about, now that this one part of the situation is over, is he going to want to go home?
Right.
Is going home on the books, and it was just, it's really nice to see that people don't even want him to leave. You know what I mean? So,
but he went to talk to, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but he talked to Hilary about it.
Yeah, yep.
I keep calling it Hilary Viv.
Yeah.
He talked to Hilary about it,
yeah.
And Hilary, not dimwit Hilary, would have.
It's over. She's not a dimwit.
She gave him some sound advice.
But she's not a dimwit. Please stop referring to, we're 5 episodes in. She's not an airhead anymore.
An airhead.
But she's not. She's not an airhead. So It's over. So
she gave him some great advice.
She gave him some awesome advice.
She said, well,
you can miss him. You can miss it and you can even love it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go back.
You don't.
And I think for a lot of people who've never been outside of where they're from, that is probably
upsetting your mom. She said they're gonna be upset, but they'll get over it.
Yeah, they will.
You'll even get over it.
Yes. Yeah. So yep. Again, just another perspective from somebody outside of mom, dad, or mom and aunt, uncle, whatever, to help him really think it through.
Yeah.
So now we get into Hilary's dinner party. Right?
And she invites the influencers
She invites the influencers over. This is her. She's moving out party.
To that? That's how that goes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And This is where they show Trey getting drunk, which sets us up for, some
Trey
stuff.
Trey came and had a couple shots.
Yeah, and then
one in his mouth.
Yeah, and then he just started telling everything. And again, being drunk, being young, having his own idea of what's going to happen with Will going back home, he's running his mouth.
Yeah.
Because Trey's not an idiot. At all. He's very familiar with what's the happenings, and even when he had gotten shot, and Will said, this was 2 episodes ago, when he was like, I wish I was out there. He's like, why? So you can get shot too? So he's not like wanting you home during all the disarray, but now that everything's safe, he's like, it's time for you to you coming home. Like, in his mind, you leaving with me.
Yeah. We
going to plane back, to Philly and stuff like that. And so then he go running his mouth to Carlton.
Talking to Carlton, like almost like a bedroom talk.
Yeah, pillow talking.
He was giving them
all the juice.
Yeah, your dad did this, and thanks to your dad, and this is the reason why I'm here, and he's supposed to be in jail.
He had a whole he had a gun charge.
Carlton
that whole
didn't
thing.
Take that well at all. Like, why is Carlton upset about this?
Well, that brings us to
Like, Carlton was really upset.
Well, it makes it clear the infringement he felt.
Yeah,
with Will is here. Clearly, him talking to Hilary and her wanting him to stay, but there's no threat to her.
Yeah.
There's no threat that you're gonna move in on my mom or create a da-da-da-da. But Carlton really carries that. But also, it shows the this is where the shift happens for Carlton and his dad. Because everything he's believed from his dad as far as doing the right thing and being upstanding, you threw all that out the window for some boy. In his mind, who the hell is he? It wasn't like for me or for my sister or for, whatever. And then it gives him ammunition against Will, against his parents, because they're a negotiating family. There's not a do what I say and don't worry about, blah, 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 blah. So another level of intrigue between Carlton and the family, Carlton and Will. But for me too, it also shows sometimes there's a place in life that happens where your parents lose you. Mm-hmm. And that for me was what happened to Carlton. And it can be very tough.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. I had that same experience. I would hate to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking forward to going through that.
I mean, either. I don't. It's probably of all the other than like giving birth. It is probably the thing that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Is like where I lose them, where and it's just real life. It's really nothing you can do about it. They have to separate themselves. They have to, get off the umbilical cord if you want to, whatever. It ain't shit I can do.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that.
It ain't nothing I can do.
But come on, the dinner. How did the dinner go? The dinner went well.
The dinner was great. The prank was dumb. I hated that prank.
Well,
that they did. But
I mean, that's what influencers do.
I know,
like
but
jackasses.
Yeah, I have no interest in any of that. But yeah, the dinner went really well. I liked. I loved what Uncle Phil said about Hilary. To the influencer head guy, and he was this because he asked him like, are you like disappointed that she's not going into like law or medicine or something like that? And he just showed how proud he was of her. No matter what, as long as she's doing what she loves, then he's all in. And I think that as a parent, that's something that we have to be mindful of, because our kids are gonna want to do shit and we're like, what? Yeah. But it ain't about us. It's not about what we want them to do. It's about what they want to do, and just being supportive of them as that. So I just thought that was pretty. That was very cool of Dad, and a very nice perspective of his love for his daughter.
Yeah. So that's all. I mean, this episode was pretty cool.
Well, now before we're not over, it's not over. Yeah. The party's not over. So then Joan, that is her name, Vivian's girlfriend, hooks her up with not an interview, but a meeting with this art gallery
guru.
Right. And
from the past.
Oh yeah, right. And I don't know.
What's his name?
I didn't get it. Did you get it?
No.
You mean like his real name?
Yeah, his real name.
Michael something.
Michael.
Michael. I don't know.
The guy from Barbershop and
He's from Barbershop. He's from
Michael.
He was in Beyonce's video as the love interest. The
boy that Eve kissed on Barbershop. What's his name?
I don't know. Google
Michael.
It. And he also played in, what was the one where Think Like a Man?
Yeah.
He played in Think Like a Man. He was Taraji P. Henson's love interest. Yeah. He was a chef. And while JD's looking his name up, what I liked is that whole scene for me, as she's like really doubting herself as far as getting back into the art world and, you know, finding her
Ealy.
Michael Ealy?
Ealy.
Yeah.
Michael Ealy.
Yeah, Michael Ealy, yeah. So, and he's so handsome.
That's so funny because he played Will Smith's brother on 7 Pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he looked just like him on that movie. But anyway, he always come off to me as when he get to talking all smooth and whatnot,
yes,
as a shyster.
Well,
as a shyster.
He's adorable. And but other than, there was a little bit of like some tension, and I think that was her apprehension for, you know, her getting back into the
I thought the same thing until
the art world, but he definitely was displaying some like for her.
They set the meeting up.
Mm-hmm.
They show him and Viv looking at some artwork of his gallery, I suppose. And he shows her this empty room.
Yes, that was so dope.
Hill like, no,
Vivian.
Viv,
Goodness
Hill,
gracious.
Hill, Viv like, this taste is too minimalistic for me.
Right, I know she.
Like, it's nothing in here. It's like one piece in here. What the?
It was a light switch.
All right, this is two. He like, oh, you know, got the smooth voice on. So before the smooth voice, this is always shysty to me. He come up with 2 glasses of wine.
Well,
red wine.
That's what you do at an art gallery, right? You drink
he gives
wine.
her wine, you know what I mean? And his voice is just so, I'm like, oh, is he up to something? That's all I know, is he up to something?
Well, I don't think, I think that, I hear what you're saying, but as a woman.
Oh, this is where the shade coming at. He said, something about like, this room is for Hilary Smith. I mean, I'm sorry.
Vivian Smith.
Vivian
right, he called her
Smith.
by her maiden name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Banks. That was one of them sly, slick, you used to be mine type. I think it's a big story going with that.
I'm sure it is, and I think that when she tells Phil that this is who she want to do this gallery, we're gonna find out exactly who he is and why he ain't gonna have it. But before we get into what could be, what I think is, as a woman, when you have these meetings with men, it is very flirtatious. That's how y'all come off. Y'all come off very like, you know, you want to drink, you sit down. And it's like, I'm here for business.
No, I've seen business go way better than that, but I hear you.
Yeah, but you're there for it.
That's probably the reason why so many
when
men got hung on the Me Too movement, just because of these flirtatious allegations that
it's inappropriate though. But what I'm saying to you is, for you seeing it, you see it as him being inappropriate.
Yeah.
We see it the same, but we still gotta have this meeting.
Now y'all talking about you did something wrong.
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. It is.
Oh,
it is. Yeah. It's a real. Yeah. Yeah. It's a real thing. That's why sometimes I remember I had a
Harvey Weinstein.
I had I was talking to somebody about setting up a meeting for my business, and they told me to bring my husband.
That's what they should.
Right, but at the time we weren't co-working together. You know, it wasn't the suggestion of the person I was having a meeting with.
Yeah.
It was a suggestion of the person saying, "Hey, when you go to this meeting, bring your husband."
Oh.
You know, that's so because of the inappropriateness of it.
Right. Because you a drop dead gorgeous chick.
Thank you. I
and
appreciate that.
And anybody going to be, you know, coming at your neck. And any men. I do it.
You do what? You come at people's necks?
You.
Come at women's necks?
Come at your neck.
No,
Why can you not do that?
What I'm saying to you is, just to combat what you said, it's more than just... For Vivian, she probably never even, regardless if they had a relationship before or not, she's more scared about getting into the art world. She ain't thinking about what this man has to say.
I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see.
I think she's acting a little bit too shiesty.
She wasn't. I'm telling you.
She very hesitant. Is you drawing a knot? All right.
She wasn't.
Well, we should have never had this meeting then. You ain't ready.
Well, I think that the meeting, and it showed us.
If she had anything to do with this guy, she should have never had this meeting with him by himself.
What do you mean? Anyway, it shows us that after that meeting, she went home and painted. She was inspired by...
He gave her a room.
Inspiration. He gave her inspiration, and then he also made inferences to done is better than perfect. There's never a perfect time to get back out into... It'll be another 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
Before you know, whatever. And so, regardless of what JD think.
All cap. All cap. You fellas, y'all know. You're gonna make it work. I'm gonna get you alone. I'm gonna show you, bring you back to your original self. Miss Smith, not Banks. You know what I mean? If there's anything going on at your home, I'm going to expose it and swindle my way. That's what snakes do.
Well, we don't know nothing about this man, and he ain't do nothing but show Vivian an empty space. He can't help that. But anyway, so moving on from this whole thing, because this can go real left if he wanted to. Okay. So
let's go.
It's unnecessary.
I'm not scared of you.
I'm not scared of you either. Do you want to continue on in this?
Take your if you want. I want to hear what you got to say.
I told you what I had to say.
All right. It's over.
Okay. So now we get into
and the friend is shiesty too for setting them up. Should I set up the meeting? You know what I'm talking about? What's her name?
Joan. Her name is Joan. Yes.
Joan she set her up. You know, such and such is in town. He's coming back in town. She part of it.
You need a push. You need a push, and let me
see what y'all do with this.
And let me just say this: just from you have to have a life outside of your family.
That's right.
Period. You know, I can only be supportive in such a way, but if I'm not finding fulfillment in my own self, then I'm unhappy. Period. And a lot of us women, people, not just men or women, but a lot of people, we as women tend to be the supportive one. As you said in the last episode, we're arm candy. So when the kids are now grown or finding their lives, and then you have this thing that you are, now I'm sitting home
doing
nothing. And so now and then you're out and you're meeting people and you're intrigued by a new person, right. And so now you want a divorce because I sat home. I was supporting you through that. I didn't have a life out of
not about no divorce. I say something. I didn't expect
well, that's what they want.
That's what the snake boy wants.
That's what the husbands want. They want a divorce because you're not doing anything with your life. I come home and you talking about we got more water. I don't give a shit about water. I want to know how your day was. What were you doing? This is why having an interest outside of your.
I get that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So the art.
Exactly. She's right, and Joan sees like, what the fuck are you doing? Your kids is grown.
Ashley's 12.
She don't need me. They got drivers.
You know Ashley 12.
And she back to work. So anyway.
Is typical. No, all right. I'm sorry. Let's go. This is about to go somewhere that shit.
You think?
Like I said.
Well, we'll see.
No, I'm just playing. Let's go.
So now we get to the concert. What was that boy's name?
D Smoke.
Okay. Is he somebody?
Yeah, D Smoke is Cali bred. Inglewood. He won the competition that T.I., Cardi B.
Oh yeah, he was the first one.
was that Big Boy? Who was that?
Yes, Big Boy from Atlanta.
Put together, yeah. He was the very first winner of that competition. D Smoke. He's a hell of an artist too.
Ah, that's very cool.
I mean, lyrically, and he plays the piano.
Ooh.
And he was brought up in a church. His mom is a singer. But D Smoke is he good. I don't know if his album sells too much, but I heard him rhyme, and he's a very good lyricist.
Nice. So they go to the concert, and two things happen at this concert. Uncle Phil is approached by the police department. By the chief of police and the other guy. I forgot who the other guy was. And just, making mention that you kind of going left. You're going in the direction that's not going to have the support of, and even his campaign manager, who is, what's that boy's name? Tisha
Campbell's boo.
I know. They divorced.
Boo.
What's his name? Dwayne Martin. Yeah. So, everybody's telling him that, he kind of missed the mark. It was twofold. They had the video of him talking about Hilary, and that was doing really well with for his campaign. And then they had the snippet from the roller skating event that they did. And so that's where, defunding the police and all of that kind of stuff. So then he's approached at the concert by the chief of police, which is Lisa's dad, and then another guy who's, part of that whole thing as well. And Uncle Phil was like, I'm glad I have my own millions.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was a G move. But hopefully you won't have to go there with that.
That's funny because Lisa, I mean, I didn't know. I thought he was just a police officer. Turned out that he is
the chief of police.
Which is very, very husky because he's in a lot of the shots.
Mm-hmm. He was in the first episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's where they're building up that tension at there.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought he was a regular cop.
I mean, everywhere you go, he has a goddamn uniform.
Yeah, but
But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So that's one thing that happened at the concert, and then the other thing is Trey pretty much calling Will on the carpet, like, "Yo, are you coming home?"
Yeah.
And then that creates a whole nother level of arguing and feelings being hurt. That then spills over to when they get home.
I mean, but they are VIP backstage at a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell wants to go back to? Again, who wants to go back to smoke them?
Yeah.
So
that's
his best friend,
right? And the friend's not like he said. I'm not on a ride. I'm not on a ride with you for this. So are you gonna call and tell me about it? While I'm still in misery or, whatever. Not misery, but you know what I'm saying. Like, he getting a taste of it, too, and he don't get to be a part of it.
A real best friend would just be supportive, though. But not to say a real best friend.
At that age?
No, at that age, jealousy and all that resentment.
Yeah, and you understand, grown now, that anything my best friend get, I'm going to benefit from.
Right.
So... I'm wherever you going, I'm gonna, make my way, come out like he said, come out spring, spring break and da. But you don't see it like that at 16 and 17.
True.
You see, like, nigga, you left.
Yeah.
You leaving me.
Story.
You leaving me, and so it can be very traumatic, especially from a situation that you created.
Yeah.
You, like he said, you couldn't even let it go in the front of the poppy store. So now we ended up here because he's like, well, you had the gun, nigga. I brought it for us.
Yeah.
So we could be semi-safe. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it was a very real scenario.
So you think it's just how Trey? I mean,
I think his feelings are absolutely valid.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would want my best friend to be happy for me, but in life you go down different paths.
You do.
And it's nothing you can do about it. And if you are truly somebody's friend and truly love somebody the way that you do, you are happy for them. And you understand that, like I said, you're going to benefit from it as a friend if you maintain that friendship. But, how many friendships have we ended as a young person over dumb shit?
Yeah.
That now you go, that was my man. And now you don't fuck with him no more. Now that was my man. Me and her, we had all these, and this one situation that our egos could have gotten over we would have just had something, something to talk about. So yeah, it's a real situation, but it also shows that Will had to choose.
Like in life.
He had to choose, and that was it's a lot of times you don't have to deal with that. Well, I could share this story. I mean, I don't have a problem with when I left elementary school. Right, I went to a Catholic elementary school, and all of my friends were going to the Catholic high school. And I knew I wasn't going to be, I didn't want to go there. My mom was going to do whatever she needed to do, but we couldn't afford the tuition. We couldn't. I knew we couldn't afford it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go to the public high school so that I don't have to worry about the money.
Right.
And so that was tough. You know, I'm going to a brand new, but I felt, if nothing else, I felt like if there's a time for me to do new, it's in high school. Because we're all coming from the elementaries and, you know, middle schools and all that kind of stuff. So we're all kind of starting from a blank slate. I would never have done it in 10th grade. I would have done, you know, in the 9th grade. But it was a very tough decision to even say to my mom, like, I'm serious. I'm not going to this school. And I didn't tell her we couldn't afford it. It was just, I knew.
Right.
And I didn't want to have to deal with what that comes with and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, you do sometimes at a young age have to like kind of pick and choose for yourself and stand behind it. And because I stood behind it, my mom supported me and I ended up going to where I went to. So,
understood.
Yeah. Yep. It don't always have to be, you know.
Yeah, I took all my friends with me to college.
Yeah. Y'all all went together.
We all.
Yeah.
I came. Brought the next every year. I brought a new friend, best friend. Doyle came.
Yeah. And Mark was there
Jeff
already,
came.
right?
Mark was already there.
Yeah.
It ended up coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then the rest of the guys I met there.
Of course.
But so I don't know. I didn't have any of these issues. But Too Hype, my friend Too Hype, he went to Wilberforce, and we ain't really been the same since. Not to say we enemies.
No. Y'all friends, but just friends in a different way.
We didn't.
But Too Hype has always been private, though.
But always in my heart, I feel like we could have made it closer. He had just followed suit. We had scholarships to play. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he probably saw he needed to fly his own.
He's saying he should do his own thing.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
Yeah,
it's important. I mean, and I think if nothing else, that's one of the things that I want my children to understand is I will always do things by myself if I have to. I don't need any other people to ... And I think that's a very good trait to have because you will miss out on something because you're waiting on other people.
That's true.
You know, or you won't do something because these people don't support you in blah, blah, blah. When it's just like, look, you my friend and all, but what you believe about me, you know. And so at an early age, you will walk your own path. And then that can benefit you in the latter because high school and college don't last. That shit's that long, but
when you're young, you think it's forever.
Yeah, but I knew that wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just I do think Trey was valid in his feelings. I did not want it to go in the direction that it's going, but they young, and I'm glad that Will chose.
I'm sorry.
I'm just glad that Will chose to do what he think is best for himself.
Yeah. But even still, if it goes well, you can always invite him out once every such and such.
Yeah.
For vacation.
Well, he had already offered that up, but Trey was like, "Fuck that."
No, once you get over it, you know, because in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Jazz was around, and
yeah, but he ain't Jazz.
So does he lose his friend?
I think he's done. I think the only part that Trey is going to play is maybe some flashback or some animosity.
You want to know what's so funny, though? Because I in the series...
Bel Air or...
Bel Air, okay. Trey doesn't come. Well, you know, in real life, Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, Jazz is the one who didn't come.
And his friend, his business manager, didn't want to come either.
That was his best friends.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go.
No.
And to the point, like, listen, I got it going on out here. Y'all need to come out here. And they didn't come.
Yeah.
That kind of...
mirrored itself.
That could have stunted their growth. I mean, they could have been very largely successful. Not to say that they wasn't, because Jazzy Jeff, you know, he got his own lane.
And his business partner, they came out.
They came out well.
Yeah, it came out well, but that's because Will was insistent.
But I can see how they continue to write that into this script
Yeah.
of the Bel Air thing, even though it's a different storyline, it still has some of the same storylines. Again, Fresh Prince left Philly on a run. And left his friend behind. Because Jazz had no interest in going to LA at all. He didn't want to do it.
And even like I said, his business manager wanted him to do another album.
He had to convince him to come.
Yeah, and he had to make it enticing. Yeah, had to make it more enticing, and all that kind of stuff. And that's par for the course. But it also goes back to, and not that I would want Will Smith to not have his people with him, because you wanna have that. You wanna know that these people, because Charlie Mack went, he was like, we out. So, and he could have just been happy with just that. You know what I'm saying? But people's potential. What can be beneficial for people as well, and even how it can benefit you as their friend and blah blah blah. But I forgot what I was gonna say.
But that was my thinkings on that. They always continue to go back to.
Well, because I think that's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You move into a place, you want the comfortability of the friends. I mean, even now, for me, and I ain't in LA and making nothing, but my best friend has a place in my life. I don't see her every day. I don't even talk to her every day, but I get to be me with her. She know all my everything, and that's a comfort. You know what I'm saying? So you want to have that. You want to have your people that are near you, but unfortunately, you can't force everybody. Right? How many times have you wanted to do something or wanted to pursue something and they didn't want to come, so you ain't do it?
Right.
Because they ain't come. So you got $1 million idea, or you got an opportunity that you let go by because nobody came. You would have made new friends. So, anyway, I just thought it's real. It's real. But like I said, I just didn't want it to go. I didn't want it to go that way right then. He even left early.
Yeah.
He like, what am I gonna stay for?
Yeah.
He like, you buying into this?
So I was scooping you up.
He fought so hard for him to come.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm not coming home, you don't even want to fuck with me no more?
Did you hear,
Roach Tripping out.
Roach Tripping out.
No, make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
We see y'all again on the next go around.
Yep, we'll see you on episode 6.
Man,